hey dad, I'm fucking with dolls, you should try it. The first thought that was run across my mind was like, am I gonna be called a doll fucker? Have you ever come on jellyfish?
No! Good attitude. Never complain.
Amazing attitude.
I never heard one doll complain. I was fucking the doll because I got my dick hard, and I was fucking the doll, and her head came off while I was fucking. This with like people to rescue, possibly?
It's not really legal to shoot.
Okay.
I mean, in
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and people over the age of 18. I'm your co-host, the least woke porn guy in porn, Porno Dan, and my man, Mick Woke himself, the one and only Tommy Tinder.
I still say I'm not woke anymore. I'm like
You're
the
still
least woke person here, I think.
No, come on. You call him. And our special guest today, all the way from Budapest, Nikki Nuttz.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
No, it's really cool you joined us because last time we met, it was really fun. It was an experience to remember.
Yes, it was. Thank you for the invitation.
Today's episode is all about sex dolls and sex doll porn, which is quite unique, I think. But before we get into that, why don't you tell us a bit about you and like how you got into porn?
Yeah, of course. I started like 5 to 6 years ago with mostly underwater scenes.
What?
Yes.
Are you a good
You mean they didn't make money?
Yeah. Yeah, but with complete diving gears and so dressed up.
What?
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. How old were you at this time? Actually, you're young.
I was like in my late 18.
Oh, 18.
19,
So you started
yeah.
porn at 18. So you started very young. Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So underwater. All right, tell us some more, okay? Since I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, and that's some fetish inside. Like sometimes we got the really old gears, the equipments from the Soviet Union, you know.
Was it like when they have, like the spaceman helmet and you're like
Kinda.
connected to a tube?
So
No.
So scuba diving.
That's a heavy diving.
Oh,
but
okay, heavy.
no.
So you're going like in a pool.
Yeah.
In diving gear.
Yes, we did.
And you're having sex
Yeah,
while you're wearing diving gear.
because that's the thing about like every scene had to involve diving gear, even when it was just in the bathtub.
What?
Yeah, the girl had the diving gear.
At least I wouldn't drown on that one.
I just imagined you walking around with a hard dick and flip-flops
Yeah,
and
my
flippers
next
on.
flippers on.
So you
Exactly.
have the flippers.
Huge flippers. You walk
mask.
backwards because that's so huge. You can't really take the steps forward, as it's really long.
How do you do positions?
There's not many, but the thing I liked it. You are underwater. There's no one speaking. You just hear your breath,
Yeah, it's just
the bubbles.
Yeah. So you have a scuba tank on your back.
Yes. or we just place it on the ground with the huge regulators.
So you can breathe. So you had, before this, let me back up. You had been scuba diving before. So you knew how to scuba dive.
No, I was. My very first diving was in a pool for this reason. To be
What if they
honest.
drowned? What if they killed you?
No, but it's somehow it's marvelous to be down there.
How did they find you, and how did they approach you to do this?
But the thing is that they were taking me to diving class, so now I'm a skilled diver. I have my diving license.
How did they find you, or how did you find them to do?
I don't know what to say.
I don't even know what to say. Tommy, would you just dive in a pool? I mean, I've never scuba dove before.
Imagine at your first scene. And
How did they find you? What was the process?
Yeah, at the very first scene, it was a casting.
So it was a pool?
and there were a girl who was introduced me to the diving stuff.
How did they find you how did you find the casting?
They found me because there were some girls already inside that in the previous years she was shooting for this guy.
Okay. So a girl who had already done the scuba diving sex.
Yeah, she invited me.
She knew you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had a girl that you were friends with that knew the scuba diving sex guy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they invited you to a casting. What is a casting? How long can you hold your breath?
you're laughing, but to be honest, I made some casting like that with girls, you know, and like who's can hold longer their breath, and I was helping them to practice underwater with some blowjobs and things like that.
How do you even have sex underwater? Because it doesn't.
You can't. I mean, like you said, you can't. There's not many positions, right? You said one or two.
Yeah, depending on if you're wearing the tank on your back, because
it's heavy.
But think about it. You're underwater.
Okay, I've had sex in the ocean, so
but that's different.
Oh, you're right. Because I mean, completely underwater. No.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing than, for example, just doing it in the pool.
Yeah, I've had sex in the pool, and I've had sex. I remember one time having sex in the Atlantic Ocean, distinctly. Now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, you need to use the special lubrication, which is not water-based, silicone-based.
Silicone, right? Because it dries it up.
You don't really feel the penetration and nothing. It just happens.
It's like sex without the pleasure.
But even the girls, you know, if they're really tight, they say, I haven't felt your dick. And, you know, I was like, what? And then I was fucking the girl outside. And then, oh, no, yes, I can feel it. Of course you can.
So you're 18 years old. You go to this casting. They have you hold your breath. They figure out you can hold your breath well, and they say, "Hey, do you want to have sex with a girl in a pool?"
They didn't make me hold my breath.
They didn't make you.
No, I made some girls after.
Okay, so but you were a good swimmer.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so before this happened, you knew how to swim well, because like in America, most of us grow up swimming. You know, and like I grew up in it. But I've noticed in Europe, a lot of people don't know how to swim, which freaks me out.
But really? to be honest...
Compared to America, we all grew up taking swimming lessons.
You don't need to know how to swim in order to dive. That's incredible.
You just need to know how to use the breathing thing and wait for someone to fish you out.
I'm sorry, but I'm not trusting when somebody fished me out.
No, really, you don't need to know how to swim, because diving and swimming is two different things. You can't swim.
Yeah.
You can't swim, I guess, if you're on the bottom. So you go to the bottom, you've got this gear on, so you can go to the bottom. How long do you stay down at the bottom of the pool?
Yeah, depending on the tanks, of course.
So you can stay for 15, 20?
No, at least 30 minutes.
Pop.
At least 30 minutes. And sometimes it was just about the final part.
The cum shot?
The cum shot, yeah.
Oh,
and
underwater cum shot.
I was running out of breath.
It's like a squid just shooting ink.
I had to make the decision. Either I'm gonna
drown.
I'm gonna ask for a cut and refill the bottles, but that kills the mood totally.
Well,
so I went
water
for
doesn't kill the mood, but filling up with air.
Suffocating isn't, to be honest, because it doesn't start immediately, because you just run out of the oxygen. You can.
Some people like auto asphyxiation.
Like choking,
some I mean auto asphyxiation.
Maybe I do.
Okay, so through the process, so you're about to come.
Yeah.
How would they do? So is there a cameraman down there filming underwater too?
Exactly.
Are there fish under there with you?
When we were in Croatia, there was jellyfishes, like thousands of jellyfishes.
What if it had stung your? You know what?
No, they were harmless.
Oh, okay, they're not.
Yeah, we could touch it. You know,
they're not the ones you sting, like the ones like I grew up with.
That was a professional instructor with us.
KY jellyfish, I'm calling them.
Yeah, but at that scene, the guy couldn't capture the cum shot because of the jellyfishes. There were too many swimming around.
But it blended in with the jellyfish?
Yeah, try. Have you ever come on jellyfish?
No!
I did.
I never even thought of it till now. Wow, coming on a jellyfish.
That's something, isn't it?
I came on a jelly donut. And a girl ate it.
Amazing.
You mean you were...
I had a jelly... I did it a couple times. One...
Like a Dunkin' Donut.
Well, yeah, like a donut. This girl I'm friends with, her name's Adriana Chekchik. We were trying to do something different. And she's a big porn star. And actually came... This was on a honey bun. It's like a big... It's like, you in Europe would call it a donut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's and I came on it, and she ate it. And she said it wasn't very good because the cum gets cold from being on a donut. Oh. Because normally she said she liked cum, but she said she didn't want to do it again. So it was the one time, I don't know where. So then after I knew that she didn't like it, of course, I was like, oh, I'll see if somebody else likes it because I'm a dummy. You know, we can't just do something once to see if people don't like it. And I did it again in a threesome scene. And these girls, but I knew this time you got to come and you got to eat it right away because I learned from my mistakes. So I came on the big donut again, and they both ate it and said it was fine. You guys, you got to get the cum while it's hot. You don't want the cum to cool the donut. So yeah, all right, but it never come on a jellyfish, just jelly donut.
Well, that was this week's podcast. I don't know how we can top that.
You've done this porn, and obviously you excel. You're good at fucking underwater.
Yeah,
you're a good underwater fuck.
I'm his best actor. Yeah.
How many scenes did you do? Like
you're the Laurence Olivier of underwater fucking.
If we count for like one scene a cum shot, but I made a lot of scene without having an actual cum. But around more than 200.
Holy.
It should be.
So there was a website or something. Is it still in business?
Yeah. There's a website for it. I think Aqua Girls or
Aqua Girls.
Yeah, something like
Sounds
that.
sexy.
So were the girls? What would the girls wear? So you would you have clothes on?
Oh my God! Yeah, what did I have to wear?
Yeah.
That's a funny thing. They have this fetish as well. This Baywatch style.
Okay.
You know that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I know what Baywatch is.
It sounds fun.
I know David Hasselhoff is a legend, so I know Baywatch.
Yeah, the little tiny underwear,
Yeah.
Pulled up like that.
But you had to
You
wear
wear
that?
those or the girl?
Or the girls?
Me, I had to wear that, and the girls was wearing some kind of old-fashioned swimming suit.
Like the ones they wore in Baywatch, the one piece, the big one.
Yeah,
Okay,
those, and
okay.
sometimes these old from the 80s, these swimming cap.
Yeah. Okay.
That typical one.
Yeah, okay. So the girl, so you've got a Speedo on, or like a tiny,
Like a Borat bikini.
like a Borat. Yeah, okay.
Kinda.
And you take that off, and you fuck the girls, and they've got a one piece on, which I guess they moved to the side.
Yeah, or I was cutting it down
And you cut
with
it.
a knife.
And you fuck for half an hour or more underwater.
Yeah, or something like that.
And they did this 200 times.
Yes.
Did you shoot normal porno or just this porno?
No, I shoot normal as well.
Okay, so I guess after doing that, you can do anything.
But I love these ones, It always.
Are they still in business?
Yes, they are.
How come I've never heard of them?
I don't know, right? We need to get them on.
It's a small, unique niche.
Obviously, but I've never even heard of such a thing that people would be. I mean, one I would think.
I've seen like some
I would think one from an American standpoint, the liability. Oh yeah, let's just have people underwater with no training. We'll get you trained later, kid. How to use a scuba gear? I don't know. Just get in the pool and start fucking. Don't forget to keep this on your mouth. If you die, don't worry.
Could you imagine trying to stay hard while you're trying to focus on not dying?
The answer is no. No, I couldn't. I would be too. I mean, even I know how to swim well. I would. No. I mean, the whole idea of being at the bottom of the pool.
That's amazing, to be honest.
I mean, I've gone to the bottom of the pool, but just to hold your breath and go down the bottom of the pool. Especially when I was a kid, we used to. I was a kid in Fort Lauderdale. We used to take seashells and we used to throw them to the bottom of the pool, and you see how long you can hold your breath and find stuff on the bottom of the pool, keys. I don't know why, just kid stuff we would do.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like, on the pool, but it never crossed my mind. Hey, I'm down here on the bottom looking for seashells, beating stuff on the bottom. Let's hold our breath for 5 minutes.
And I love this is like there's enough people typing into Google scuba diving.
Scuba girls to make it profitable. So who are the girls? Were they normal porn girls?
Who are the guys that are buying this?
Not really.
Not normal.
I never met any big names.
So it was girls who were good breathers.
Yeah.
So the girls that were doing this site weren't doing mainstream porn. They were aqua girls.
They were fetish models, I guess.
No. They are not really models. They don't really want this footage to be seen, to be honest.
Oh, are they covered their faces and things?
Yeah, they are really covered.
So they're like fetish models.
And they are not like in every single page. So it's really hard to find those videos.
We're finding them.
Yeah, we're definitely getting them.
Yeah, I can link you one or two.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Easy.
Well, okay, so you go from shooting underwater.
Yeah, like the evolution.
The evolution of Nikki Nuttz. So you go from shooting underwater.
And then I was crawling to the dry
So
ground.
so like an amphibian, you got out of the water and they let you on the land.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, then how did you get into normal porn on land based? How did you become a
How did you become a mammal?
How did you become a mammal and make it on the land?
I was with this girl, and I am with Zazie Kim. And her very first scene was with me underwater, to be honest.
Okay, so one of the underwater girls.
Yeah, and since that, I'm with her.
So one of the underwater girls brought you above land to do a scene with her.
Yes.
Okay, so she was the amphibian enabler. Got you away from being a fish. All right, so she got you into the girl that you worked with in Aqua Girls did normal porn.
Yes.
She got you into normal porn.
Yes, and then I got a request, I guess, in 2015 or 16 from Dorso, and that was a bigger scene with a big stories, 3 days shooting, and that kind of launched me. I guess
doing mainstream porn.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. I wasn't expecting.
No, that's. I just don't know how we topped that.
And the girl who got, I don't know how we had it. So the girl who got you to mainstream porn, she became your girlfriend.
Yes, she is.
And she's still your girlfriend.
She is, yes.
5 years later.
Yes.
It's a long time. It's like an underwater romance. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like Little Mermaid, but totally different.
Yes, I was falling in love with her when she was unable to talk underwater. No, I'm just kidding.
I want to get these Aqua Girl videos and just subtitle the bubbles.
I mean, I've done all sorts of scenes. You know, I've done thousands of scenes. I don't know how I'd feel being underwater that long. I don't think I'd
This is the first time someone said something where you haven't gone, yeah, I've done lots of that.
Exactly. No, I don't think I'd like being underwater.
And that was crazy fetish is like a forcing, you know, because for a diver, it's the part of your equipment that you have a knife attached to your leg, you know, and sometimes I had a spare gun even.
Oh, so they would go full on.
Stories, little stories, you know.
Like, did you guys have a TV show out here called Marine Boy?
No, I thought he was going to say, you know, like Thunderbirds. There used to be one that was under the sea.
Yeah, I remember the Thunderbirds.
But they had like this different one called, I don't know what it was called, but it was like, there was this girl called Marina and she lived under the sea and she had like Stingray, I think.
Okay, I remember Marine Boy when I was a kid. It was a Japanese cartoon they showed in America. It was like from, I don't know, a long time ago. Anyway, Marine Boy who lived under, could breathe under, he had aqua gum. So I kind of vision you, like you're like a Marine Boy. You could chew your aqua gum and you could go underwater and fuck girls. How did you keep, okay, my question, how did you keep your dick hard?
It's really easy, you know, because I usually prepare myself mentally before the scenes.
Okay.
And when I'm done there, that's just your breathing, you know.
So you kind of just zone out that you're underwater?
Yeah, you're kind of go to alpha.
Tama?
Sounds peaceful. I think we should try it.
It is.
I don't think I could do it.
It's very peaceful.
I think we should try and shoot something
You can't
like this,
even slap. Yeah.
Give me an aqua tank?
Let's get the aqua guy on the podcast.
I don't know.
Let's do a scene. Let's see if we can do it.
Wow, that would really be pushing you. So then you started doing normal porn, and you've been doing normal porn for almost 5 years.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. And this is your full-time job.
Yes, it is.
All right. Very cool. Amazing. And you're out this, if I'm correct, you're still the youngest male regular actor in Hungary, right? From Budapest.
I think so, yeah. I heard crazy stories like from actors who was already in the business, like, I will never make it. I will have to fuck grandmas for years to get accepted to porn. But
She'd been like, dude, I've done underwater porn.
I mean, it's like
yeah, exactly, right?
It's like boot camp. What's your boot camp? I've been through fucking. I went straight in combat.
I went straight dorsal. You know?
In porn terms, you're like a Marine now. It's like you are actually a Marine.
Holy shit! Yeah, that is absolutely. What I met you 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I met him when I very first moved here. And I had him do a scene
with Arletta.
Yeah, for my Fucka Fan, because he was brand new. And I
watched that.
He was brand new to porn, and I need a guy. And in Fucka Fan, we hire guys that were brand new. And then that hadn't really done porn.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he hired...
And I remember seeing how angry you were. But I think he was the only one that actually performed.
What I had is 3 guys. What I did is I used to have 3 guys come. And it was you, a guy who came from, I remember, a guy who came from France.
France, yeah, I remember.
Who was
And you
good
made
looking.
them like draw things.
Yeah, well, because I would have a contest. I'd have a contest.
Yeah.
And then there was another guy who was Hungarian. And the Hungarian guy, I remember, couldn't get his dick hard at all. And got very sad.
It wasn't the French?
No, this French guy got his dick hard a little bit.
Yeah,
A
he also
little bit.
struggled.
A
though.
little bit. But the first guy, the Hungarian guy, couldn't get his dick hard at all and just gave up. And then there was the French guy who got his dick hard a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you got.
And then I jumped in.
You were like angry. I could
Well,
see you like throwing your money away. You're like,
I need to have some.
I'm gonna get in there.
Well, I need to have some sex in somewhere, yeah. Well, and that's what a lot of times I'm fucking fan in America. The same thing would happen. The guys who were coming to do it couldn't get their dick hard, and I'd be like, "Fuck, we're paying to go to sex to 3 guys." I'm like, "Oh, I'll jump in."
and it was not a cheap actress that was booked.
At the time, Aletta Ocean was was by far the most expensive actress in Europe at that time.
Yeah, and she just put her prices up as well.
Right.
I think.
And I remember in fact, at that time, what I paid her was actually higher than any American girl was getting at that time.
Yeah, I remember the fee, and I remember it
Yeah,
being a
I
lot.
remember the number.
I know.
Because I was like, whoa. But she's very popular. She sold very well. Now she's so popular, she doesn't even shoot for companies. She just shoots for herself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So should we start the podcast?
How do we beat Aquaman?
I don't know. I say we come back next week. and do a
Aquaman, come
different-
on, man. You can't.
You stop
you-
it?
I'm joking.
How do you, I mean, the adventures of Marine Boy, I mean, geez, you don't.
I think we're going to be in the news again.
I don't know how he'd be interesting. Well, I'm glad you didn't drown, and I'm glad you're here now.
Thank you.
And
Mike, so they would actually bring you to the ocean, though. Like, not just a safe swimming pool where there's like people who could pull you out, but they would bring you in the ocean too.
Yeah.
Mother of God.
Yeah, that was
What's
one of
imagine
the
with the
reasons.
liability? Can you imagine how could you couldn't get insurance on that?
you couldn't. You'd have to hire
You
like
couldn't.
actual divers.
Did they have actual people there rescue? What happens with like, people to rescue possibly?
No, it's not really legal to shoot.
Okay.
I mean, in Croatia, to be honest, but I think you.
No, I'm worried about insurance. No, we just.
No, they were not really.
Okay, this makes a lot more. I'm thinking, what did you tell the insurance company?
They've got, like-
I'm going to shoot under. I'm going to put people who don't know how to dive and give them.
Also, the credit card companies, if you've got like spear guns and knives and the full gear, like.
Well, I mean, that's one thing, but I'm worried about people dying. Well, I'm glad you lived.
Yeah.
I guess because you started doing these type of scenes, normal scenes were easy for you. Where there's an actual, you're on the land, you don't have to worry about drowning.
It depends.
Depends.
Because a normal scene can take sometimes the hardcore part like 5 hours.
Right. With the pictures and everything.
With the pictures and everything.
Which I try to explain to people.
Yeah,
It takes a long time.
that's like 5 hours period and just one cum shot.
Right.
When I was there, I was shooting for like 10, 12 hours, but I had like four cum shot a day,
What?
So I made a lot, and it was like, let's say,
What were you taking to come? Well, I guess you were 18, but still, you could come 4 times in a day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Professionally.
Easily. Yeah.
I'm 50 and I still do 3, but I'm a freak. Still crazy. Interesting. So, all right. So now for you, when you started doing we'll call it land-based porn.
Land bites.
Land-based porn. What was the big difference between aqua-based porn and land-based porn? What was the big difference for you? Was it a field?
I could.
Other than you're not going to drown.
I could feel the pussy.
Well, that's nice. That's a bonus. You can feel the pussy on land-based porn versus aqua porn. That's a bonus.
And that's why it's easy. Let's say easier to shot the land-based porn.
Okay.
What was the hardest submarine porn that you did?
Let's think.
200 to choose from.
Pirates of the Caribbean theme. He's dressed like Blackbeard.
It wasn't like hardest. It was, some of them was tricky, when I had to force the girl, and I wanted to do it really lifelike, as it is really happening. And yeah, and it can be dangerous with a knife in your hand.
Yeah,
Where is this going?
a knife and underwater. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah,
that I'm underwater with a knife to somebody's throat? Nothing. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
I thought I was going to go somewhere dark. Then I was
No.
Well,
He didn't. There's no corpses in the bottom of Croatia in the sea, are there?
Who knows?
Did you ever lose somebody when you're filming? Uh-oh. We got to go quick, guys. We lost one.
speed off.
I'll jump on the boat. -1. Oh, well, we lost one today. Let's go, Nikki.
Oh my god.
No, but coming back to the safety, that was that professional guy with us.
So there always was somebody
Yeah,
there
there always was. But
to try to save you in case
during the day, we were kind of like drinking his schnapps.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was like about 40 degrees, so it was really hot in the summer, you know. And we were drinking his schnapps, and you know, at one point you feel dizzy, you know, and then you just realize, oh my god, I still have to do a fucking scene, you know.
So we're literally in the drunk tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he were telling us that's good. That makes everything good. Trust me. I know.
If we can't increase our liability with having people fucking underwater in the middle with weapons in the bottom of the ocean in Croatia, let's give them alcohol. Let's put everything at once.
That's just totally insane.
I like it.
But
I liked it too.
okay, let's move on to sex dolls.
All right, to sex dolls. So we had a project, me and my friend Romero.
Yeah.
And he suggests to you, my friend Romero, to have sex with, I have one other actor too, just to have sex with sex dolls, because during COVID, Romero likes to shoot every day. Me? No, not anymore. I don't. I mean, I've got a catalog of over 5,000 scenes, so I don't shoot as much. I don't have to. I live off my catalog for the most part. Anyway, he had an idea. He goes to me, approached me. Do you want to shoot? And we couldn't shoot because during that time in Budapest, there was a quarantine and there was no models here.
So all porn stopped shooting.
Pretty much all porn. It was just guy. But it was, you know, we were under a lot. This is last year. The first great closure. Everything was closed down. Mm-hmm. And I said, what's your plan? He goes, well, when things open up and we can shoot again, because we couldn't shoot at all. He goes, I have an idea to shoot sex dolls. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, I want to hire people, real people, humans, to have sex with dolls and to film it. And I said, oh, what's the investment? And he told me the number. And I was like, well, okay, that's kind of high. Well, what are we getting? And we got these and he laid me out a business plan to shoot these.
When you say like sex dolls, like you're talking about like these
very
kind of
high end.
Yeah.
Very high end. Very lifelike.
Very high.
Very high end. Very expensive.
So what's the process when you like think of, because you said like you have the idea.
He had the idea.
He had the idea and then you partnered on it. So how, do you like test the idea first? Do you like buy a doll or what?
No, he just, I mean, we just kind of looked online and saw that there were people searching for it. It was more his idea than mine. Mm-hmm. And we saw there were people that were searching for it, the content. And said, all right, well, let's take a stab at it. You know, you don't know what's going to sell and doesn't sell. And so we invested in 7 dolls that ranged in price from...
That's a family of dolls.
It's a family. Ranged in price from 1 that was not expensive to 6 that were expensive. They had to be all custom made and custom ordered and came from China.
Oh, yeah.
They came from China, and they had very, very lifelike. And I tried the doll.
How was the doll?
I was unable to film. I was able to fuck the doll and film. I tried.
Did you buy her dinner first, or like what was your process?
I didn't. I mean, maybe I'm used to buying flowers now that I live in Europe. No, I mean, I don't know. I tried. And
did you put clothes on her, or did you just?
Well, that's what happened. Okay, I was fucking the doll because I got my dick hard, and I was fucking the doll, and her head came off while I was fucking because I was fucking her hard, right? And then when the head came off, it threw me off. And I lost my mojo because her head popped off. And I tried to put her head back on. When I was trying to put her head on, and then I couldn't get my dick hard again. I was like, oh my God, I can't do it. So then.
And this was on camera, or this is just like practicing?
Practicing. I was trying.
You weren't going for the cum shot.
No.
Oh man.
So I was just trying. So I was trying to see if I could do it. Before we even tried to film me, I was trying to see if I could do it, right?
Which one did you choose?
I don't remember. Just the pretty one. One of the pretty ones. They're all, you know. Anyway, so then I tried again because I'm a determined guy, and I failed a second time.
Did you have
this time? I didn't have the head didn't come off, but this time I failed again, so I couldn't do it a second time.
So what was it like? How did it?
How did it feel?
Because they're expensive pieces of kit. Not many people can afford to actually.
So,
have
well,
sex
like the
with one of those
vaginas,
dolls.
they're detachable, so you can take them out and clean them. And the vaginas are aesthetically, they look like a female vagina, and it feels like it. But for me, it just wasn't. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like. Maybe I'm not a such and such company that's used to fucking unconscious people, but I couldn't do it.
You should do some underwater porn.
Yeah, maybe if I had practiced fucking people that don't say anything, but I just couldn't. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't do it, so I failed. So the original idea was I was going to be the actor, but I couldn't do it, so I failed. So then we had. So then Romero and I were, well, we got to find somebody that has sex with dolls. So we asked another guy I'm friends with who works for me, and he could do it, but you could tell he didn't like it.
Was he the one where, like, I think the first video I saw, and he like ripped the doll because his dick was too big or something?
Yeah, his dick stretched the doll because his dick is like a dinosaur dick, so it kind of it's
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so it stretched out. It stretched out even the stretchable vagina. They're not meant for giant size. They're not meant for dinosaur cock. Anyway, and then Romero suggested you, and I was like, oh, I remember him. Yeah, you're cool. I met you. So then we had Nikki, and Nikki came, and Nikki did great. So we got the doll, and we did like this little story of how it was to fuck the doll. And Nikki was great at fucking dolls. But now that I understand that you were Aquaman before, Marine Boy, now I understand how you were able to fuck the doll so easy, or else I failed miserably.
Yeah, so what did you think when you got a call saying, like,
because
do you
Romero
wanna do
asked
some
you, right?
porn with some
Yeah,
dolls?
at first, the first thought that was run across my mind was like, am I gonna be called a doll fucker? But then who gives a shit? What thinks, And
I've been worse.
he was invited me to try out the dolls at first.
Yeah,
Oh, so you got to try them first?
Yeah.
Romero did. Yeah.
Yeah. And I went there.
Was it the first time you'd seen them in person?
Yes.
What did you think?
I was like, well, let's see. What is it capable of?
Because they're kind of amazing, aren't they? Like, when I first saw sex dolls, they're like, you almost think they're real. Like,
Yeah, the high end
that
ones.
fraction of a second.
If
you're
you
like,
look at a picture of the real high end ones, they look real.
Yes.
yeah, it's incredible.
And in fact, this is how real they look. The ones that we were using.
And how real their weight.
Yeah, and they're heavy.
How
They weigh as much as a normal female. There's actually an escort site in Hungary. Not that I know.
Is
this.
there? I think I've heard of it.
Yeah. Anyway,
I've never heard of anything
not that I
like
know about this, but they actually have pictures of the sex dolls intermixed in with genetic real normal females, and the prettiest pictures on the site, okay, are all the sex dolls. And I remember this is when we started the project. I go, check out. My friend goes, hey, there's a new escort site. And I looked at this escort site. I'm like, well, oh, she's hot. That's a doll. I was like, fuck. So like they're like, because they're aesthetically, think about it, they're perfect symmetry.
Yeah, they're
and
absolutely perfect.
and what we're attracted to as humans is symmetry. And people
if they had the gold ratio. And
right. So the golden ratio, right? Yeah. So that they're perfect, aesthetically pleasing. So they look perfect.
Yeah,
they have no flaws.
I was fooled by them once. Like, I went to the Real Doll Factory, and we was ringing the doorbell of their office, and we were like, what the fuck are these guys just stood there ignoring us? Like, it's so rude. And then we realized it was just dolls.
Yeah. No, they're
Dressed up to be like a secretary
like I
and
said.
stuff.
Now the cheap ones, like they had when I was young. Okay, sex dolls.
the inflatable one.
Yeah. We're not. Those are like we're not.
They're like joke things.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking several $1,000s or several thousand euros each one, multiple thousand, and what they look like now, like you're saying, Tommy, they look.
And they feel incredible.
And they're, like I said, and they're heavy.
Yeah.
But even like the breasts, okay, for example, they're made of silicone, so they feel like
silicone breast.
Any other actress, they feel
right,
like any.
right. And in the ass, like the ass is like soft. And it's like it's kind of scary.
It's confusing. It really is.
Yeah.
So how did you find it when you tested the dolls?
I tested, I went for it, and I was soaking wet of my sweat because I was really giving to it. She didn't say stop. I was asking her if should I, But she didn't. So I just kept going on.
Well, that's the interesting thing about dolls.
She made as much noise as the underwater girl.
Yeah, just as much, but not as much bubbles.
Well, that's the thing. It does. It opens up like different possibilities for like more extreme fetishes. I think.
Yeah, she opened up a lot of possibilities. That's for
So
sure.
if you're a guy who likes rough sex, you can have rough sex with the, just don't
you
just
can
don't
destroy them.
Yeah, just don't knock the head off like me.
Yeah, like remember when one of those Vegas like escort ranches they put out a press
Yeah,
release.
yeah, they put a
that-
doll in.
saying that they dolls shouldn't be allowed, like sex robots. They dehumanize girls and they make violence against women acceptable and things like this. And I don't think that's true. I think
No, I know-
it's a doll, not a human.
You know that they have one in Austria, which you know the country next to us. They have a sex doll. They have sex dolls at the brothel. Again, I don't know how I know this. A friend of a friend told me there are sex dolls available at the brothel. And a friend of mine may or may not have had a conversation with the owner of the brothel, and the sex dolls were more popular than the genetic females, the real females.
Are they cheaper?
No, they're more expensive often.
Seriously?
Yeah, because they're popular. This is what my friend said. My friend who went there, maybe, allegedly, perhaps. That the more in demand ones were the actual the dolls were in more demand.
So you did the first scene, you were sweating.
No.
This is
and-
you did a trial practice.
Trial,
It was
yeah.
just a tryout. But then I was like, hey, Romero, would you mind if I go for it again? And he was like, why not? Enjoy. And I went for it again in different positions, you know. And
Yeah, does that kill the mood? Because they're really heavy and hard to move around.
not really.
So
I
you're like-
really loved when I was shooting the scenes, I was doing some kind of extreme position. With the doll, counts extreme because I'm like 50 kilograms. The doll is around the same.
So you weigh in
I was-
pounds like 100. You weigh like less than 120 pounds.
Yeah, something. And I was always
guy.
putting on the top of me, and it's really hard to
The doll was the
keep
same.
keep them on. Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah, I saw you like cleaning the doll before a shoot. once.
Yeah,
And you seemed, to me, it seemed like you'd given her some feelings.
some good care.
Like, because when you were cleaning her, it looks quite mean. It looks like you're kind of hurting her. And I felt that you felt guilty about doing it.
It depends on which area you're cleaning.
I think you were like replacing the vagina. I think you were like
You gotta
putting, like, some
you gotta
lube
take
in.
it out.
Yeah,
You gotta
that's
ta-
super
yeah,
sick.
Yeah, you gotta take it out.
Yeah, and you looked like you felt a bit guilty about doing it. Like you were kind of...
I just only felt guilty when Romero was go with the piano. He was kind of scoring my movement with the sound of the piano.
Romero started playing the piano.
And then I felt like, oh my God, that's sick, you know.
Why did
I was opened up the door and I was ready to insert the vagina, you know, and that felt sick. But just because of the piano.
Just the piano.
Just because of the
It
piano.
felt like you were in like Frankenstein's workshop
Yeah,
or something,
kinda,
like making a monster,
yeah.
a really hot monster.
Yeah, but I love those dolls and I'm quite miss those, to be honest.
Would you get one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no question.
Yeah, I remember like when you did, because you did like reviews of dolls.
yeah, we
so-
reviewed them too.
And I remember you kind of like treating her like a person, like you didn't have to, but you were like stroking her arm,
Yeah.
like being really affectionate.
Yeah.
How do you, do you get to that point naturally? Like, because they look human, you kind of treat them human.
No, I'm not crazy. I was just giving out good energies, even if it's just an object.
Yeah,
He's just a nice guy.
And I was getting back
I drew you.
the good energies, you know? So,
Tommy was probably the kid who was mean to his toys growing up.
yeah, I'm
see-
not slapping down
As you know,
around.
I don't share my toys.
Exactly. We already established Tommy. Nicky was a nice guy. He shared his toys. See, he was like me. I was good to my Star Wars figures. One was a cheaper doll. One was
Amazon one.
Yeah, one was from Amazon. The ones you buy from Amazon, I don't care.
Still gray.
Yeah, they're still great, but they're definitely not as the high end ones. And a lot of times there's bait. You have to be careful who you buy from because there's bait and switch. We found
Really? Even with dolls?
Yeah, but with dolls especially, where they'll put pictures of a more expensive doll
Yeah.
on the site, so you have to buy from a reputable company because, like I said, we're talking $3,000 to $5,000 each. They're not cheap.
What's the main difference between the cheap ones and expensive ones?
the construction of the body.
Everything.
Yeah,
You
everything.
can ask plenty of extras like built-in voice software.
Yeah, you can do all sorts.
Anything. And for example, the skin upgrade is it's incredible. You
What's
know,
a skin upgrade?
like we had the other type skin. I don't remember
you
what.
can get. You're saying you can get like more lifelike skin.
Yeah, and you
Like
could
to
see the
touch or
veins.
to see?
Yeah.
You could see the veins and everything. You know, it's really on a whole other level.
Yeah, like in the breast, especially
Yeah.
the breasts are like they're expensive. You know, they're silicone. The ass feels
Amazing.
everything.
Yeah.
How did it go with the actual, because no one's really done sex doll porn before. So how do you sell that?
We didn't. That's why we don't do it now. We thought it'd do better than it would. We put some videos on Pornhub. We put some on X videos, and we thought people would click and be interested, and we'd build a site. But
Turned
out now. So I'm not often in life. I'm wrong. I'm admit it when I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, you never know until...
You never know. So we tried, and I don't know why people didn't buy it. We never even launched the site because we put the videos. We did what's called beta. We want to see how it did, see if there was a lot of demand, and people would click on the sites, kind of the videos for out of fascination, but no one was clicking on the URL or even to look at the site. So
Oh, really?
no, so that's when we decided to abandon the project.
And I heard that when you uploaded it, it would get put into the gay section.
Well, that was another. Yeah, it was weird. Okay, for some reason, when we put the videos up online, okay, and I know the guys in the company, they're like, they even said, oh, well, Dan, we can't. Not they said to Romero, and they said it to Romero, and then I called also. Well, we can't put this in normal porn because it's solo. Like, it's not a solo. How do you think this is a solo? Solo like it was a single guy. I said, it's not solo. It goes in straight. They go, no, it goes in solo. I said, you're putting it in the wrong category. You got to put it's for straight guys that want to see, a dog get fucked. Don't put it in a solo category. So that was one thing, then they said, oh, well, if you put it in a gay course, it's not gay. Where are you getting that from? It's not a man doll, okay? So they're like, oh.
Yeah, if it was a man doll,
Exactly,
would they put it in the straight section?
Right. So yes, I didn't understand. So anyway, so there's a little bit of confusion with it. The companies that we try to market through X videos and Pornhub, so like I said, people looked, but it wasn't. We didn't get the traction we thought.
Sometimes when you're the first to do something, you
Sometimes you're the first to market, and you just don't get it.
No one gets it.
No one gets it, and then things happen later. Like I remember, there's tons of stuff like that in life. I can't even think of all the millions of examples of the first to market. Doesn't always take off, like the first computers and the first, so many things that people tried to market. Everyone's like, what the fuck is this?
It's like after this podcast.
We could
find that everyone starts making
right.
sex doll porn.
It's going to take off like wildfire, right? And we'll be like, damn.
I guess I see why you did it. Because I see obviously COVID, you couldn't shoot. And I guess it's easier to work with dolls than porn stars.
Well, they're not going to flake on you. They're going to be more reliable. Because 1 out of every 3 girls that's booked doesn't make it for whatever reason. Mainly because of border closures. We have so many issues. Even though they can come in with papers for work and visas, we've had a locked border here since September 1st. So we're almost 9 months of locked borders, right? Which I know is crazy, but it's made it very difficult. But even taking that outside, models just think it happen. They can get gonorrhea. They can get chlamydia. They can, I don't know. The dolls don't get gonorrhea. The dolls don't get chlamydia. The dolls don't get hungover.
Do you have to take the doll to talent testing?
No, dolls don't get.
Just
you
the
have
pussy.
to get?
I was just taking the pussy.
On a plate.
Put the pussy on the plate. Did you have to
The
get
dolls don't
tested
get
because
fight-
you're working with the doll?
No, I did not.
Dolls don't get in fight with their boyfriends, or their boyfriends get jealous, so they can't make the shoot the next day. I'm taking all the excuses you hear. Countless excuses.
Yeah, and every single of the dolls was treating me very nicely, and none of
100% reliable.
None of them were asking for
They're
a
not-
Gucci bag. Or
They don't have
something,
Gucci bags. Darling, buy me Gucci. And they're always on time.
They're always on time.
Yeah, they're never late. Very, very reliable.
They have a nice makeup.
Good, perfect makeup.
Are they
No
cheaper?
wrinkles.
No wrinkles. Good attitude. Never complain.
Amazing attitude.
I never heard one doll complain.
If you have an option to try it, just try.
You should try.
Just try.
I tried. I
give it a
I
go.
can't afford to try. It's they're expensive, and I'm not having a shared one. I'm not having a second-hand one.
Oh, because he's the type of guy. Listen, he's so cool.
Man.
Somehow he thinks in his brain that if girls had sex with somebody,
No, I don't
they're
think
ruined.
I don't think that were girls, but I'm
It's
not sharing
a toy.
sex toys.
But
Wait a minute. Okay, but he won't share a sex toy. What's wrong with kids? Do you share sex toys?
That's a respectful thing.
It's not respect. It's
I'm being
called
nice.
crazy. You clean it.
I get that, but I just
Right?
okay.
yeah, you clean it.
Okay, then how come when you go to the shop they don't sell like secondhand sex toys?
They have.
They do.
Okay.
They do.
It's disgusting.
That is.
So
that is.
disgusting.
That is. But if
Tommy,
you ask from
has your
friend-
penis been in more than one vagina?
Yeah, but skin is
Has your
self-cleaning.
has your oh, sorry. Okay, I hate to break it to you. Your skin can catch stuff much easier than a doll.
I don't. It just sounds disgusting.
And once you remove the pussy, you can have an original one.
Yeah, you take
just
it
the
out.
doll is used. The pussy is
You just clean it.
brand new.
Yeah,
It's much more hygienic.
Much more.
Much more.
Much more. You clean it yourself.
Come on, yeah. Nikki and I are in agreement. Much more hygienic. You're not going to catch chlamydia or gonorrhea or herpes syphilis from a doll.
I'm fine with it. For me, it's just like thought that
You take it out and clean it.
I couldn't.
If you
do
want
it.
to double penetrate with your friend,
Yeah.
that
And a doll won't complain. Like I said, no problem. We're doing DP tonight, honey. None of this. Oh, which of your friends are you bringing over? None of that. That doesn't question that. There's no questioning which of your buddies. Oh, I don't like putting it in. He drinks too much. Nope, they don't say that.
they love you as you are.
Yeah, they love you no matter what.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they don't complain. Like I said, that guy all he does talks about is football and whores. They don't care. All he does is look at Ross on you look all day. They don't care.
Did it take more time to film with the sex dolls? Because or was it
It's
easier?
faster.
Faster.
Because you don't have to take breaks for like normally with a human, especially when he was the actor, the girls take breaks and the girls, smoke a cigarette and the guys too, not just the
No
girls.
retouch needed.
No retouching of makeup, none, yeah, much easier. Actually, it's quite frankly, it's much easier because like I said, you know exactly what you're going to get.
Who has to clean them after?
Who uses?
Who uses it? He who uses it
okay.
cleans.
So it's like you get booked for performing and cleaning. It's like a double.
Yeah, but at first, just the performing was mentioned.
yeah.
So what did like friends and family think to when they saw your like sex doll shoots?
I'm not really like, hey, dad, I'm fucking with dolls. You should try it.
They were like your girlfriend say or
Oh, my girlfriend was kind of okay with it. She wasn't okay
She wasn't
with
as
the
jealous.
way how much I was enjoying it. But
Really?
Yeah.
She got jealous.
She got a little bit of jealous, because they are amazing. Simply. Just truly amazing. And when I got home from a shooting, I'm really satisfied.
did she sometimes try to compete by just laying still?
Oh, I wish she would. No. Unfortunately. No. Then she would be the girl I was falling in love with, underwater.
She spent 24 hours not talking.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I can easily state these kind of things that she doesn't really speak English.
Your girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm like, go on, listen back my podcast. But I said so many nice things of you,
We'll just edit a lot of good things.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, she was the amphibian who helped you break away from the water. So hey,
She's a mermaid.
she's a mermaid. Your girlfriend is a mermaid. That's true, Tommy.
And you're a merman.
No, he's
Aquaman. is
Merman.
that
Aquaman.
Merman.
Because he can walk on the land.
Aquaman is the company owner, and I think Aquaboy. I think
Marine Boy.
Marine Boy.
Marine Boy.
sounds
Because
gay.
Marine Boy, Marine Boy.
not
Because
gay.
Marine Boy, because he had to have the underwater
Aquaboy.
powers by
He's
chewing
like a
aqua
superhero.
gum. So he'd be more like Marine Boy because he got the underwater powers from his magic tank. It's like Marine Boy got because Marine Boy had stuff called aqua gum. Okay, this is another thing. So I remember as a kid, and I would remember one time I was inside aqua gum. I knew how to swim, but I thought if I chewed gum underwater, it would help me swim better. It doesn't. Okay. My aqua gum is not real.
Choking hazard.
Luckily, I'm glad my parents taught me how to swim at a very young age. It didn't teach idiot. Bubble gum isn't really aqua gum. I'm sure some children growing up back then died because of watching Marine Boy chewing aqua gum. Especially they didn't know how to swim. Lucky I knew how to swim at a young age.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for coming because that was just
That was
brilliant.
outstanding. I
was
learned,
amazing.
I learned
Thank
stuff.
you so much for the invitation.
And and if people want to subscribe, just go to howtobeapornstar.net. You can subscribe on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also contact us if you have some questions for Porno Dan.
You can contact us on Twitter or Instagram on how to be a P, or you can email us at
Hello
hello.
at howtobeapornstar.net.
How
So if you ever come on a jellyfish
you ever
or
wanna come
any
on-
other fish,
Yeah.
maybe you can.
and you can find Nikki Nuttz.
Right to
and,
us.
and you spelled nuts N-U-T-Z, right?
Double T.
Huh? And
N-U-double-T-Z.
nuts N-U-T-T-Z.
Yes.
Z, not with an S.
Why did you choose that name? Is it like nuts like crumbs or nuts like crazy?
Like crazy. Because at first I was thought I'm gonna building up my image kind of like this, let's say Rocco style, you know, and Nikki Nuttz, he fucks the girl like a nuts, you know. But then my image became something like a shy guy who never seen any tits before.
Wait,
in
wait,
his
you're by far
life.
the youngest, like I said, you're by far the youngest actor.
Yeah, but you're not a shy person at all.
Not really. I used to be very shy, but
Really?
not anymore. Yeah, I used to cover my body in front of my girlfriend.
Really?
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
I was super shy.
Interesting.
It's cute.
Well, interesting day.
It'll fade out. So don't worry.